Yeah.
And then the MRI was fine. The knee,
Yeah.
bone and bone back here, but I got to start exercising to strengthen the gut muscle. But this dirty sucker has got arthritis from both sides working.
Really?
And it feels good once in a while. And then there's something just like a little toothache in there.
Yeah.
And sometimes like a big toothache in there. That's the gospel, Jocelyn. But that comes with old age.
Yeah.
I'd like to know how many tons of feed that I've pitched
Right.
with my arms.
Right.
It would amaze you.
Yeah,
And
it would.
manure
Yep.
and straw
Yep.
and all kinds of it.
Yeah. How many bales have you hit? How many bales have you thrown?
Water cans.
Yep.
into
And those milk
trucks.
cans of yours?
And
Oh, those are the water cans.
oats.
Salt blocks.
Salt blocks. Oh my God. Yes.
Because you're the saltaholic.
Salt blocks. They only weigh 50 pounds, but by the end of the day, they feel like 5,000 pounds.
Salt blocks.
Okay, I've got an idea for one thing.
We got an idea here, Jocelyn.
Yeah, we got an idea. How about Jamie reads the questions?
No, Will wants
Yeah.
an idea.
Huh?
Will has
Yeah,
the idea.
Will has
Oh.
the ideas.
Will is
Okay.
Will.
Well,
Wait, which little
Will
Will?
Haven.
Oh, little
I
Will.
got an idea.
Yeah.
I have an idea. Okay, so when we go in the office, you can pick up things like this and explain what we find around here and what, is part of history. And she can pan at
Oh,
the,
that whole thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's interesting. All that room is like the little miniature room at the ranch, the pool room, where all the neat things are. That's what we should do too, is do a little of that. You see, Johnny Reed has a bunch of that on film that maybe he would loan us if we need it.
That's a good idea. So makes your job a lot easier.
Okay, so what we can start, they would like to know your name, age, and who you are.
Well, Sam Hampton, born in Demopolis, Wyoming, June 10th, 1935.
Tell us about your ranch.
From the very beginning, from when we purchased the ranch, or when we used to drive sheep through the ranch.
Both of them.
All right.
Yeah.
I haven't heard this story before.
Before 1946, when we purchased the ranch, my father trailed sheep from the spring range through the ranch and onto the mountain. Along the way through, Mr. Dieter, that owned the ranch at the time, was actually a die-hard cowman. And he would stand out on the bridge and tell us, "Keep those caterpillars going, boys." So that made it kind of interesting. And then also, we had to make quite a trip around the ranch to get to the summer range. So we'd go up probably 8-10 miles east of the ranch to the summer range with the sheep, straight sheep those days. We didn't have any cattle. But then when we acquired the ranch in 1946, we took a shortcut from the spring range through the ranch to get to the summer range. So it made it nice. The sheep actually trailed right by the front, right by the house at the headquarters there at the ranch.
And that's up to the summer range in the Bighorn Mountains.
Yeah, we summered mostly on the south end of the Bighorns. And some years we had a forest permit, and we would trail another 10 full days on the top of the Bighorns, going due north up to a forest permit with sheep. And that was kind of neat up there, because down below there, 5 miles, was Meadowlark Lake. And when I was a young guy, I'd ride my horse down there and row boats for the tourists. That made it kind of neat.
So about how many sheep do you think in those days, in the highlight of yours and Grandpa's careers, were there that you trail, and how many sheep herders did it take?
We shed lambed a lot of sheep, and that means we go through a shed with them, and during cold weather, because they'd have to have protection. And then after lambing, we would process the lambs by docking procedure, it's called, cutting off the tails and castrating them. The reason you cut off the tails is a lot of times if they have a little diarrhea, it'll cling to the tails, and it's not very healthy. So we get all that done and then start trailing. through the Badlands. The reason I call the Badlands,
What's that?
oh my gosh. If you're out there 20, 30 below and your old pickup quits you or a horse falls with you, you gotta walk or crawl home, whichever comes first, that's bad. You get out there in the summertime, 115, 20 degrees, old rig quits you, horse bucks you off, rattlesnake strikes you, that's really bad.
And what's the good?
And then trailing
Is there any
on to the summer range, of course. You trail the sheep probably from 5 to 10 miles a day, depending on where your water is, because sometimes you have to push them a little further to get to water. But normally, we like to take it slow and easy with livestock, because as they're eating, they're gaining weight, and weight is what we sell.
Okay, so what are you holding there?
Always an artifact. We find quite a few of these around the ranch. Evidently, there was a lot of Indian camps in that area. We've also found teepee rings where they put stones around their teepee so the wind wouldn't blow the teepee away, or to keep it secured a little better.
So let's look at more of those.